With all this talk of massive layoffs at major news institutions, there's a lot of talk about, is this the end of journalism? Well, it's absolutely not. The concept of journalism in its most basic sense is the idea that reporters and the media are supposed to challenge power. They're supposed to ask questions of the government. They want to know what's going on, what's true, what's factual. But what's happened for many years, especially around 2015 with the rise of the Trump phenomenon, the media have decided that they want to be on the side of the government. They're not going to challenge them, they're going to help them. If there's a COVID pandemic, they're going to do everything the government says. Even if some of it doesn't make sense, they're not going to ask questions. If somebody like a Senator Rand Paul asks Dr. Anthony Fauci if it's possible that COVID-19 could have originated in a Wuhan Chinese lab, journalists aren't going to ask questions. They're going to get mad at Rand Paul for even asking the question, even though it turned out highly likely that it might be true. When Hunter Biden's email had some curious things that we should look at if you're a journalist and you're asking questions, the government said it was Russian disinformation. And what did the media say? It's Russian disinformation. They sided with the government, promoting and protecting government narratives. That's what mainstream journalism is these days. When the entire left was insisting that Donald Trump absolutely colluded with Russia, and then there was an investigation for 2 years and no collusion was found, nobody retracted their report or the wrong reporting on that. And make no mistake, the entire media went along with that narrative that he was definitely colluding with Russia. And then they found out he wasn't. The reason that independent media, what we do at Base Politics and what so many others are doing, is we're filling the gap of what journalists used to do. We're asking questions. We're looking for the truth. We are challenging power. Which is why the mainstream media don't take us seriously, because they see the job of a journalist these days as to be with the government, be on the side of elites, be on the side of power. Well, that's just ridiculous. And if you're wondering why there's so many layoffs at places like the LA Times, the Washington Post, so many other places, it's because their reporting has no value. People don't trust it. There's no integrity. And they're too in their own bubble and own world to see it. So expect independent journalism to still be thriving, more so even in years to come, and in the mainstream for it to be diminished because it's not really journalism anymore. I take no pleasure in anyone losing their job, but when you see your job as a journalist to do what the government wants you to do, say what the government wants you to say, you're not anything remotely like a journalist anymore, and nobody wants to hear or see what you have to offer. And the mainstream media can complain all it wants, but it did it to itself.